Jody.
Mr. Espey, what's going on, buddy?
Well, quite a bit, man. Quite a bit. And I don't know where to start, but it is a 2-year anniversary of us starting a regular show on YouTube. Can you believe
Yes. Happy birthday, Can-Am Connection, because I was wondering when was that date, but it falls on a Halloween, so I guess, hey, it's pretty easy to remember, right?
Yeah. I was looking because I was curious how long have we been doing this for? And this morning. And then I discovered, wow, it's been a while.
I tell you what, man, October, and this is we're gonna go right into the soapbox, okay? So,
before you do that, though, make sure you hit like and subscribe on this video. Hit like now because maybe you won't like what's about to come up. I don't know.
Right. I tell you what, October has to be the worst time for me in arm wrestling, and it has nothing to do with wins or losses. Do you agree, Ryan?
Are we talking about October in general?
October in general. Like for arm wrestling itself, for me personally, just it's been a horrible month, and I can't wait. Now, the way things are going now, I can't wait to get the year over. Like my brain is like swelling of all the BS that's been taking place to the point, and I had told you yesterday, if I wasn't a man of my word, I would say, fuck the rest of this year. I'm laying low. I'm going to resurface next year because what's that?
Kind of like what I'm doing.
Seriously. And now, after experiencing what I'm going through, not that your situation was the exact same, but I see why you said, you know what, I'm just going to take a step back and train, and do this show. Totally get that. Are we fully paid yet? My final check will arrive Thursday, so we'll see.
Well, I can confirm that I have been paid.
Right, you can. I'm still waiting, so we'll see. But that's part of it. And I'm like going, okay, never again. So if people want me at their event, I had a long talk with the missus and, basically just say, hey, you know what? You got to start being proactive. You got to start advocating for yourself and this, that, and then some. But that's another thing. But that was part of how horrible. Now, things took a turn for the worse Friday night. So just to get everybody caught up, listen up, Jay Claims. I know you said, what happened. Here we go. So I'm coming home. I'm off work. And we all know, if you know anything about podcast shows, we all know every Friday night, late Friday night, 98% goes live. I've been on that show a few times, so every once in a while I'll pop in. Here's the thing. So I get on the show, you got the cast of characters, you got to remember, I'm off at about 11 o'clock at night, which is 2 a.m. over there, and they're still rolling, right? So the thing is this, hey, there's some alcohol intake there, not so much the beer man with bad company kind of shit, but, yeah, we're drinking hard stuff, beers, what have you. I had my Jameson, not a big deal. We're talking shop. So after about an hour or so, give or take, maybe a little more, I was like, all right, gentlemen, I'm signing off. You guys, have a good one. Thanks for having me on the show. This, that, and the other. Okay. So this guy was on there. He goes, all right, man, well, we'll talk to you next time. Not a big deal. I get off. I get ready for bed. No big deal. Get up Saturday morning. And all of a sudden I get this Facebook message saying, hey, I just want to apologize, for last night. I didn't mean to say that. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm like, the hell are you talking about? So I'm thinking, what did I miss? Because when I was on the show, I wasn't that liquored up. I was coherent about what's going on. What did I miss? So I get back on the show, and I actually watched it when I got off, and it stemmed from when Larry Wills snapped that dude's arm, right? Remember that?
I you know what? I didn't watch it.
But you know about it, though, right?
But I'm aware of it. Yeah, I'm aware of it.
So next thing you know, I'm looking at it, and so the guy goes off on this tangent. And by this place, probably liquored up. So he goes, "Yeah, I can't believe that fucking Larry Wheels broke that fucking N-word guy's arm." And I'm like, "The hell?" You know, when someone says something, you kind of freeze for a second, and your wheels start spinning. Like, did he say what I thought he just said? And he said it with a hard ER. So I'm thinking, huh, okay.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
the
yeah.
fuck, you know?
Well, I was when you sent me the link, I went and watched because you sent me a link with a timestamp, and I looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it, and I watched it again, and I'm watching Ryan on the show, and there's another guy on there, and they kind of like unsure of what just happened almost for a second, and then all of a sudden that guy vanished from the show. Like they booted him off of there, which is good, but it was shocking because I have a theory.
Oh, please, I want to. Yeah, I would love to hear this.
There's no accidentally saying that word unless
Yes.
it is part of your normal vocabulary.
Right.
So, does it point to a much deeper problem with this individual? Probably.
I mean, he said that like it was like fluid. Like that word came out of his mouth like saying coffee.
Yeah.
Like it's a part of his everyday, vocabulary. And it made me wonder, I'm like, well, shit. How does he act in his own, circle of friends? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Yes, that's his name, Eric Harlan. So I'm thinking, all right, now he apologized. Cool, no big deal. Okay, fine. I see you now. I mean, yeah, you apologize, fine, but I see you. I know who you are. I know what you're about. Fuck that guy, Now, when word gets out about what he did, because you got to remember, if you look back at the show, the minute he said that, the live chat started fucking flaming up. Like, what the fuck, Like,
what just happened? Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody knows. Now, granted, I don't know because he thought it was okay to say because by this time it's 3 a.m, East Coast time, and it's around midnight my time as I'm going back, right? So now all of a sudden, he's been labeled as a racist. Yeah, because you don't do shit like that. When that gets out,
I mean, you can barely say anything anymore. That is like the nuclear warhead of all of remarks that you can say. Like, it was unacceptable for a century now. Like it's weird that would just slip out on a YouTube show. I don't care how drunk you are.
Right. And that's why they call alcohol the truth serum. So I'm thinking this motherfucker. So now he's been labeled a racist, this, that, and the other. Fine, whatever. Now all of a sudden I get a message from him, the one I forwarded to you. Yeah. And it was almost like the message, if you read it, it was like, sorry, not sorry.
He was like playing a victim.
Like, I'm like, hold on. And here's the thing, what baffles me. This dude is offended that he offended me. I'm like, so you're offended that you offended me? Like, really? Like, I'm trying to put my. So after all that came out, and I got people messaging me. I'm seriously, I've been like talking to people nonstop ever since then, and messaging me nonstop. And I'm like trying to figure out how do I fucking do this shit? Like, my wife and I had a date night Saturday night. I'm still trying to figure out I got this going on. And I'm like going, okay, how the fuck I'm going to do this? Because what I was going to do is just say, fuck it, I'm going to blast this guy and say, look, guys, this shit's fucking real in arm wrestling. I mean, anywhere. I mean, racism is around anywhere, but Jesus Christ. And what I said in my post, if anybody saw it, basically was saying, you know what? The guy apologized. He said what he said. However, just be aware, this is who this guy is. And I left it at that. Now, I could have drug his name through the mud, this, that, and the other. But when, I'm talking to people like Chance Shaw on the phone about this. I'm talking to people like Cobra Rhodes on the phone about this. James Reed on the phone about this. And you know, when you go through all that kind of stuff, and the kicker, Ryan, the kicker really made me upset. This is where I got to really watch, you know, how I raise my blood pressure. The dude had the audacity to say, "Hey, I'm not like that. You know, I have a biracial daughter."
That's such a weird. That should make him even more sensitive to this, because I need to assume that that has created some challenges for his daughter.
I got biracial kids. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? My kids don't talk like that. So the fact that you had to sit there and say it, it's almost like that one person, you know, well, I got black friends, and your point, right? So, you know, when you're going through all this nonsense, and then of course you got the Clayton Faulkner bullshit, which, you know, that's even like I said, fuck, dude. But Ryan, I almost said, you know what? Fuck this shit. I am taking a step back from the sport for a minute. I mean, I'll still train. You and I will still do the show, but I was almost like, you know what? I don't need this fucking shit. You know, here we are, 2023, right? And I don't want to sit there and get political, because the two things I don't want to talk about on this show, or I talk about outside this, is politics and religion, right? So there's other countries laughing at us because they're probably going, oh, these guys are going to off each other. You know, we ain't going to do shit. You know, they're laughing at us because we can't get our shit straight. Now, I'm not a history major, but goddamn it, I could have swore the Civil War has something to do with this bullshit, right? The South want to keep this shit going. The North's like, fuck you, we're done with this shit. Well, what was the fucking end goal? A bunch of Americans slaughter each other with some dumb shit. That's the bottom line, right? And the fact is, and if you read my post, this is why I have concerns going to tournaments down south, because I sit there and tell myself, okay, am I going to get treated fairly? Am I going to get a fair shake at an actual tournament by the referees? Because, hey, I don't know. You know, that's why many concerns me going down there to compete, you know?
That's an interesting theory, and you probably are not out of line for thinking that way.
But I shouldn't, but it's just the facts, right?
Well, I mean, how can you not?
Right.
So I don't know where we go from here with it. Like, are people going to do something about this individual? Like, some sort of, I don't know, action. I mean, you remember when John Dabo did his thing and everyone was outraged, but it just kind of went away.
Yeah.
I feel like this is like a next level of that. No, nothing will happen, but we're all we're watching because, you know, the world loves controversy, especially when someone else is doing it. And we'll get into the next subject in a minute here, but we have this guy who has said what he said and kind of is trying to back up what he said in some weird rationale, like he's just gonna get a pass on it. That doesn't make sense to me. It's kind of like, you know, our friend that did what he did and then expected no backlash with the payments and stuff. That's like you got to expect people to be pissed off. You can't just say I'm a victim now because people are mad at me.
And the thing is, I've gone through anger management because of this kind of topic. Like, there was some stuff that happened in the past where the old Jody, I didn't take too kindly to that kind of stuff. So if that was said around me, there was going to be a problem, and I was going to end that shit. But knowing as a parent, you know, my wife kind of pulled me to the side and go, look, you need to knock this stuff off. You got to get some help, because I will not be the person. I love you and all. I will not be constantly bailing your ass out of jail if this continues, this kind of behavior. So,
well,
point taken, babe. Sorry. So because of that, I went to anger management, this, that, and the other. So now I have to watch what I say. And then, of course, my position now in life, you know, I got to watch what I say. I got to watch how I react to things, right? So, and sometimes I struggle because there's times I want to fucking snap. You know, I could have easily, if this was the old Jody in Canada and that happened to me, somebody would have got hurt. But I can't do that anymore. I'm too old for that, for one. But it's just, that's not me anymore. This situation, I would have fucking hunted his ass down. We would have had a problem. But I can't do that right now because that doesn't make me the better person. So that's why I sat there and thought about it. Okay. Took the high road. Said, look, I'm going to say what I got to say because he did apologize. But it's kind of all for naught because that text message after that, once he got called a racist and stuff, and then he got all pissed off and then try to spin that like, well, this is on you. I'm thinking, okay, now it's on me because of something you said. That doesn't calculate. No. So I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna just say what I said. I'm moving forward, not knowing that I was gonna get a bunch of text messages and phone calls and all that kind of stuff. I even thought about doing a podcast on Arm Talk and say, look, here's the deal. But I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna give this guy the energy. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it with my partner in crime. Let everybody know this stuff exists, people. It's unfortunate. And then on the phone with 98% this morning, talking about some of the calls I got yesterday afternoon before I went to work, blows my mind because I'm like going, are we really worried about people's integrity, or are you worried about your brand or whatever the fuck? And Ryan, you and I, sorry everybody, but this particular thing is going to be off the record. Ryan and I were talking about that. But still, what needs to happen is that these people out there, you know, so now where do we go from here? If that guy shows up, how does that promoter handle that situation? How does that director or organizer handle that situation? Because I'm not going to sit there and try to say, hey, guess what, guys? You should ban this guy because he's this, that, and the other. That's not my spot. His name is out there. You know who he is. I unfriended him, blocked him, all that. I'm done. So that way I didn't get any backlash because that would have pissed me off even more had I still been friends with him. He would have messaged me left and right. Wow. So, and now what's really starting to grind my gears is the fact that he's doing a bunch of damage control now.
Well, there's no damage control. He said what he said. Right. And promoters need to decide if they want to keep him around their event as the lightning rod of whatever that could happen. Like, are people going to want to go to his events knowing, or any event knowing he's there? Probably not, unless they want to go and, you know, beat the shit out of him. But that's a whole different thing. So you don't want that guy around, at least for a little while, until he does something to make it right. And when I say make it right, I don't mean apologize and tell everyone that he's got a biracial daughter and that should make it okay. Right. You have to do something, take some action, do something, pay some kind of penance that, you know, you are trying to be better than you were on that evening last Friday.
GB, his name is Eric Harlan. So 90% already mentioned his name earlier in the chat. And not only that, but here's the sticking point. Why he said all that? What shirt was he wearing? Florida Armwrestling League. Now, I'm not saying everybody, you know, down there is racist. And there's times I forget because, you know, when all this is going on, I'm sitting up there having a talk with my wife. We're drinking coffee, trying to find out what's going on. She's, you know, because that pisses her off because, you know, my son has gone through that because him being biracial, he's gone through that shit before. Like, what the fuck, you know? So we really, you know, get real in tune about shit like that. And you wonder, okay, he's wearing a Florida Armwrestling League shirt or jersey. So that is another Pandora's box. So now the Florida Armwrestling League, what are you going to do now? This guy's representing your league, and he's acting like that. Now what happens? You know what I mean? I got Paul Passmore texting me, dude, who is this guy? He lives in your state, Paul, you know? And Paul's like, what the fuck? You know, so I mean, I can't tell you the number of people I've been in contact with via phone call or text over this. And granted, a lot of them are, hey, are you okay? What the fuck's going on? This, that, and the other. I heard this through the grapevine, yada, yada, yada. So it's out there, but it's like, it just, I got people in Canada contacting me. Hey, I'm sorry what happened. What the hell is going on? Jody's a stand-up guy, this, that, and the other. And the fact that I got to go through this shit just baffles me. Because again, it's like, here we are again, 2023. Never ever did I think this topic would be on the Can-Am Connection soapbox, but here we are.
Why did he apologize to you specifically?
I don't know, because it's funny how that came out once I left the show. When I was on the show, none of that was talked about. He didn't enter none of that. But the minute I got off and he was getting all revved up again for whatever topic, and then that came out, he just, boom, said it. And I'm like, okay. So I was talking to somebody yesterday, and he made a good point. He goes, well, if the topic was about Larry Wills, how come Larry Wills didn't get contacted and go, hey, I'm sorry, Larry Wills, for doing this? Not that Larry even fucking cares, but, he's like, what the fuck ever, maybe. I don't know. But, why are you, and I don't want to use the word scapegoat, but why are you the one that this is all, about? Because it wasn't directly at me.
Was he saying that about Larry, or was he saying it about the guy that broke his arm?
Actually, it was, if you look back at it, it was about the guy who got his arm broken.
Yeah.
I don't even know who that guy was. But the fact that, no, it wasn't a direct shot at me, but it was a direct shot at my nationality, my people. That's the issue I got, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't saying, Jody, you blankety blank blank. Oh, that F and N word with the hard ER. I'm like, wow, bro. Like, seriously, man? Like, woo, man. And like I said, I don't know, because I wonder, is that how y'all wrote? And then, like, some of the comments on the post I made, it was almost like they were kind of the people, I'm not going to say they backed them up, but there were some pretty questionable remarks like, it's not as a big deal in the South. I'm like, really? Who are you speaking for? Are you speaking for yourself? Are you speaking for me? Yeah, I'm like going, is that how y'all roll down there? Like, really? And there were some athletes down there. I'm like going, do y'all see this? Or y'all just like, yeah, whatever, you're an idiot. Keep it pushing. That bothers me, but maybe they're so used to it down there. It's like, what the fuck ever,
Well, don't bring it to YouTube for the world to hear and see then.
Well, it's out there now, and I'm telling you right now, 90% got a big following here in the States. They got a huge following. And when that's on there, and you got to realize, people, once you say something, you can't unsay it. And when someone hears something, you cannot unhear it. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. I'm going to highlight this because it made me chuckle a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, we haven't gotten to the other one, the other news that happened over the weekend, but, to put a bow tie on this shit, it's like, it's just real frustrating that, okay. And now you look at it and go, okay, then here's the reason why I don't fucking compete down south. That shit right there. I did before, though, differently, though, because it was the 2021 IFA Worlds was in Orlando, Florida, right? Now, it is weird because sometimes I forget that Florida is the South, the Deep South, because when you think of Deep South, you think Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and Florida, because it's so much of a vacation spot, you kind of forget that. But it is still.
I've hung around some of these clubs in the South, and I've never heard that word tossed around ever.
Right.
Like, yeah. It's weird to me that anyone's justifying it.
You're talking to a guy who grew up where I was adopted, quick history lesson. I was adopted by my grandparents, right? Well, they're from Louisiana. Like, my grandfather was born in the 30s, Louisiana. I could just stop right there. You can only imagine some of the stuff he grew up with. So moved up north, decided to settle in Oregon, and had a family there. So he was very, very overprotective by me growing up because of the stuff he went through. So, and now I start to see it's like going, what the fuck, man? Like, what are we doing here? You know, and it's just unfortunate. So now, being the man that I am, and now, you know, with biracial kids, my wife and I are really, you know, overprotective because we see that shit a mile away. A lot of them understand that, but still, some are like kind of going, you know. So yeah, it's very interesting, you know.
So, just to highlight, 98% arm wrestling's comment here. Yes, if you say that word and you go out and you say it on a podcast where hundreds or thousands of people are going to see it and hear it, yes, that's all it takes to be labeled a racist.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing you can do in your defense except taking responsibility would help your situation.
And honestly, like I said, when he texted me the voice message, hey, I you know, apologize, I was out of line. You know, of course, you know, my daughter's biracial. I was like, okay, you fucking ruined it by saying that. But I was like, okay, I get it. Fine, whatever, I'm moving forward. But all that respect got lost like that when he sent me that text.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I've been labeled a racist now, a dirtbag, a piece of shit. This is all your fault. I'm like, fuck you. That's when I was like going, okay, you know what? Everything you said with this apology, all that got thrown away after that text. You know what I mean? So I actually saved that to my file, right? I mean, I blocked him, unfriended him, but I still got that screenshot. And every now and then I'll have to, like, going forward, I have to look at it going, yeah, there's still people like that in the world. And it's, you know, like I said, that particular thing might have sealed my fate of me ever competing down south. And got invited to say, hey, maybe next year you can come to my event, you know, we can get your super match, yada, 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 yada. I'm thinking, let me ask you this. I'm not going to get into who said it, but let me ask you this. Had this situation not come up, am I still getting that invitation? I don't want to be no charity case. Let's get that straight. So talking to this gentleman, who I'm not going to name, said, hey, you know what? I'm thinking about putting together a tournament next year. We'd love to have you come down here for a super match. Maybe we can set you up. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, you know, I'm kind of, okay, you know, we'll see, you know, that kind of thing. See what my schedule is. But when I got off the phone with him, I was like, if all this didn't take place this weekend, am I getting that call anyway for that? See what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
You ain't got to do me no favors. But yeah, everybody. So sorry that rant went on for 28 minutes. But
well, we're just warming up.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, by the way. So yeah, not the show I thought I would be talking about on our Can-Am Connection birthday, but yeah, this is just ridiculous. So yeah, for me, I thought about saying fuck it, I'm out, but I got commitments because, you know, that's just who I am. I still got the World Series of Arm Wrestling this Saturday, leaving Thursday, and I still got the Washington State Championships December 2nd. You know, still have a tournament to do and a match to do and probably some play-by-play and stuff. Do my armed sports entertainment duties. But yeah, so for me, I still got those. And I told those promoters, hey, you know, I'm a man of my word. I'm going to commit to that. But this made me say, fuck it. I am done for the rest of the year. I'm going to go in the cave. Ryan and I will still do our show. I'm going to still train. I don't need this shit.
Yeah. So I was, before we jump into the next subject, I might be out until March because I got my Robbie Burnett match and I'm definitely going to keep that commitment. But the high five, sorry to say, I'm not getting a match there. This on number 2.
Wait, Sandy, you're not going to compete?
I'm not being offered a match for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They said potentially at number 3, but number 2 is not going to include me.
Okay. Well,
that's all right. I mean, you can't get invited to all of them.
No, and again, you got a bigger fish to fry because I know it's Canadian Nationals. I know it's IFA Worlds in Greece, by the way. And somehow I foresee in the future, by the time IFA Worlds rolls around in Greece, there'll be two couples having dinner together. Just my opinion.
Sure. Yep. So let's talk about Austin Jaggers. And I will preface this by saying, yes, we understand everyone is innocent until proven guilty. However, it's not looking good. It's not looking good.
You want to kick it off or should I?
Well, you can kick it off, and I'm going to look up the actual article so I can quote some things from it if you just give me a second. But give us
Chris Drummond. I don't know if you subscribe to him, but it was a good friend of Austin. He posted his thoughts on his YouTube, and then all of a sudden he took it down.
Well, it was scathing. Like, it was not nice.
Right.
And there was security footage apparently of this. So it says during the investigation, OCPD reviews some home security footage determining the victim and Jaggers engaged in a verbal argument around 10:30 p.m., including what he had said to her right before this stuff allegedly happened. So the headline is Prospect Pro Arm Wrestler charged with rape and assault.
Prospect Pro Arm Wrestling. Like, arm wrestling has a bad name already, and then we're trying to get our sport off the ground.
And they quote the rankings from armfighter.com.
Yeah, we're about to get to that Austin Jagger, so stay tuned. So here's the thing. Earlier this year in England, Arm Wars, and he was one of the guys, in my corner for my matches, Team North America was there. We all hung out together. That was Austin Jaggers. That was myself, Mika, John Terry from Canada. We all kind of hung out, right? And he was cool people. He was one of the headliners because he had that big match with Mindaugas Doskas, So he was one of the headliners that weekend. And, we had a good time and stuff. We go out to eat, just, talking war stories, just that kind of stuff. And when we were done filming and all that kind of stuff and competing, we all kind of hung out by the hot tub on the patio. And, he was telling some wild stories. But it was like something you would laugh. And, to me, I was saying, oh, okay, not my cup of tea, but I'm just like laughing because I'm like, oh, this dude's wild, It's okay at the time because the guy's single. He can do what the fuck he wants, whatever. When you're married, you don't really see that version. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, whatever. And then hearing this, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And it makes me wonder, and it goes back to, the race thing, like, man, do you know a person till you really know them, right? Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Well, I can tell you, God, I even feel bad for saying this, and I shouldn't. I mean, this guy is getting tried in the court of public opinion before he ever gets a court date. And the fact that they drag arm wrestling into this is a little weird.
Court date's tomorrow, I believe, by the way.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not looking good. However, I remember years ago, and this is all foggy to me, but we're talking 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was friends with him on Facebook, and there were some really odd things he was posting, and I just booted him for a while. Mm-hmm. And then I really never heard from him again until just before I had a match with him. So I knew there was something off, and I thought, okay, the guy's definitely different. He's changed. When I was with him in BC, seemed like a normal guy. He was there with his mom. Maybe that's why he was on his best behavior. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But, Nice guy at the time, but you never know what's going on behind the scenes. And this, this went bad, and we may not be hearing from him for a while, because especially bail being set at $400,000.
So, and I'm involved in quite a few chats, arm wrestling chat, and of course, when someone responds, you get a notification. And there are some people who are like going, well, hey guys, we don't know. It's always, innocent until proven guilty. Like, bro, so I get that. Totally get that. Innocent until proven guilty. Well, newsflash, there's fucking video footage, one. Two, I don't recall the last time somebody had a $400,000 bond for something that was just, you know what I mean? I really don't.
No. I mean, the information is right there. So, yeah, I see what you're saying, Stan. It's not necessarily that it's looks bad on arm wrestling specifically, but it's not the kind of attention we want either.
No, I mean, it's bad enough we're trying to get rid of this, black eye that we do got. And then, you got the racial shit going on over the weekend that I'm involved with. You got the fucking Austin Jaggers bullshit. You got this weekend's been horrible. And what sucks is that there's no big, huge events going on. So all the attention's on this negativity, right? Like there's no King of Table. There's no East versus West. That's still, a couple weeks away? So
yeah, we'll be talking about that next week.
We should have been talking about the World Series of Arm Wrestling Finals in San Diego, but this kind of took precedent. You know what I mean?
Interestingly, they have removed his name from those Arm Fighter rankings.
Yeah.
So updated yesterday.
Right. Because seriously, I mean, and it's weird because now, all the stuff that's on YouTube, like all his matches when he pulled Tim Bresnan, when he pulled, Derek Smith and things like that. It's like going, okay, you always wonder, is somebody going to go back and then, because you know how the trolls are, is somebody going to go back and just, say something, too bad for that guy, this, that, and the other, so it's sad because now, because of this, he can't show his face in arm wrestling communities,
Not for a little bit, no. So,
I mean,
couple of guys we're talking about who are basically not going to be around, shouldn't be around for a little while.
Because this stuff, I mean, when I first got into the sport, 2011, this stuff was not going on. Back then, we had one troll, and everybody knew who it was, and they didn't like the guy. Probably still to this day don't like the guy. And now we have multiplied. Like, if we put, if we put more energy into the sport, competition promoting than all the other shenanigans on the outside, who knows? Maybe the sport will be as popular as fucking slap boxing. You know what I mean?
I would hope so. Now, is it just because we have so much more access to each other with social media? I mean, back when I started, we still got flyers mailed to us from Leonard and Denise with all the tournaments.
Right. Yeah. I mean, to find out, and just to let everybody know, and Ryan, you'll know this, back in the day, to find out what tournament was going on or the results, everybody went to the Northeast Message Board. Remember that?
Yeah,
and
sure do.
Hey, there you go, Talia. Austin should be banned for life. You don't mess with a woman. Exactly. I mean, that's just, there was nothing in life that should make you, well, let me rephrase that. There was no need for you to put yourself in that situation for that to even happen. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes there are a few of those who think they're rock stars, but it's like, dude, seriously, like, you're arm wrestlers. Why are you putting yourself in that situation? Because guess what? Now that your name is being dragged through the mud, now you got the victim being dragged through the mud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but getting back to what I was saying, if you want to know about a tournament or the results, you went to the Northeast message board. And I guarantee you, after a Monday morning hit, everybody was flocking to that. They want to see results. Or, hey, where's Gary Roberts going to be this weekend? Oh, he's going to be here. Cool. I can't wait. Everybody will flock to that tournament because you had the opportunity to be filmed in one of your matches. And now social media is blown up, sometimes for the good, other times for the bad, right?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what to say about this, because even like in the United States, this could go away. It could go away with a plea. It could go away with her dropping charges, you know. So how do we handle it as a community is the problem. I know how Paul Italia wants to handle it already, but
right. And Paul, since you're in the chat, how do you handle the fact that we have this racism bullshit going on? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, because that was just, I'm telling you, man, like, what are we doing? How does the arm wrestling community handle situations like these? Because you really got to take a step back and go, okay, what are we doing here? Because it seems like the attention is on that instead of the actual promoting, making sure we're getting everybody into the sport. Because can you imagine if somebody was like on the fence of like, maybe this arm wrestle's pretty good, maybe I'll give it a try, and then they hear this shit that happened over the weekend? Like, multiple things happened over the weekend. Can you imagine what they're thinking? Like, I don't know. Is this how it is?
Yeah. Paul says not when there's video. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So, and again, like I said, it's like mind blowing. I mean, I was just in the social circles. I'm like fucking doing yard work, talking to people about this. I'm working on my son's car, talking about this, going, what in the hell just happened this weekend?
I don't know, man. Like, there is, Jay Clean posted the article, so check it out. I don't know where we go. We need something positive to happen, and hopefully next week that's all we're talking about is something positive, which hopefully will just be predictions for the East versus West that are coming up on November the 11th.
Yeah. Because, man, yes, Paul, when you listen to it, he said it so smoothly, like saying water. Like, it just came out like it was natural vocabulary, like saying
part of his everyday language,
Right. And again,
it's sad because if he does have an ex who is black and a biracial daughter and all the stuff he says he has, it's sad that would be part of his language.
Right.
So
Jared said they can't open the link, says it's legal reasons. Well,
maybe it's maybe it's where you are in the world, but I opened it just now and it's just fine.
Right.
Even though prevents you from sharing news articles on social media.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and then you got to go, okay, well, damn, is any more of this shit happening on a normal basis in this sport that doesn't come to light? You know what I mean?
Well, there's lots. I mean, I have seen videos about arm wrestlers just doing shady shit. Nothing illegal, but definitely would give insight into their character.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't even dare try to post it publicly because it would. I think there's some of us that are untouchable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true, But yeah, it's almost like, I don't even know. Like, Friday morning, world was fine. Arm wrestling world was fine.
Is the world fine? The world seems like about World War III is about to start here any minute, but
right.
I don't know.
but it was just like, who would have thought Friday evening, because you and I we kind of chat over the weekend and we kind of get our bearings and kind of go, okay, what's the topic for, the show?
And
Do we have a soapbox?
Presents itself.
Right. What do we have for a soapbox? Not knowing that the soapbox will take up the entire show.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
There's more.
The message I sent you.
Yeah.
With one Clayton Faulkner, that's just like
Clay, like
that. You kind of compared to the other two situations, that one you can kind of go, all right, dude, I get it. When you suffer a car wreck and it kind of jostles your memory or brain or what have you, right? And you tend to say things that you really don't say, because even he last year leading to our match, which I really didn't want to have in the first place, but he kind of just, okay, fine, I'll do it, whatever. And he didn't say the N-word, but he kind of mentioned some off the color comments where my wife saw, was like, who the fuck is this guy? And I thought once we had our match last year, it was done. We're moving forward. And then it resurfaced again a couple days ago. I'm like,
it's like his, he's trying to be funny, but it's not funny.
Yes.
Back when he said, I think he said, I've never been beaten by a man of color ever. Is that what he said?
Yeah, I'm like going, this is why that car wreck messed you up, because I did beaten you before.
Yeah.
2013 to be exact, but whatever, it's like, what the hell does that even mean? I don't know. I mean, because it's just, I'm getting all that shit from each side. So you see how I'm feeling right now, where I want to just say, you know what? I'm going to shut it down for the rest of the year, because I need to gather my thoughts before I really just fucking snap. And I don't want to be that guy, So.
Well, I gotta tell you, man, I've had some ups and downs this year. It's been rough though. Mm-hmm. And the fight still continues. We still have stuff going on with, IFA versus WAF and all the drama in Canada that's caused by that, which really isn't that bad. We still only have one federation for the country. Mm-hmm. But I mean, with all this negativity and stuff of the past year, that's, 90% of the reason I just decided not to compete for the rest of the year. I just want to take some time and get my bearings and decide what the plan is. Because if I'm not enjoying it anymore and I get to that point, that'll be it. Like I'll walk away. But I don't want to. I mean, this sport's been a part of my life for 26 years.
Right. I mean, you got some invested in there, and it's hard to walk away from something like that,
Yeah.
But you and I are fortunate. Our wives are in our corner saying, hey, it's all right. I support whatever you do. But when you train for something, because I'll be honest, when I train for arm wrestling, it puts me in a positive mind frame. Like, okay, I'm training for this tournament's coming up, or you're training for a certain person, or you're training for a certain event, and you're fired up and shit. It's like going, oh man, I can't wait for this. And then you got your team that you train with, right? Your arm wrestling club. And then they're feeding off of your energy. And then all of a sudden now you're feeding off of theirs. And, next thing you know, you're, hey man, let's go to this tournament. Let's all carpool or whatever and go to this tournament and cheer each other on and stuff. That's what makes it fun, right? What makes it not fun is all this bullshit on the side. It's like going, like it was never like that. It was never like that. Like trolls are like being applauded for doing what they do. Fuck that.
There you go. Mikkel, that's a practice in Winnipeg if you're all interested. Artem Taranenko versus Tom Stubblebine. Paul, can't say I'm going to take any interest in that match, but
I'll say something, Paul. I'm going for Artem.
I'm cheering for Artem. That's for sure.
And Paul, you already know how I feel about Tom, so yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another situation I dealt with this year. This is like, the fuck, man? What's wrong with people, you know?
Holy shit. We missed that event. So that's Italia Arm Wrestling Promotions that is got that super match between Artem and Tom.
Is that the one November 4th?
Yeah, November the 4th. So it's coming up this weekend.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I like that. I mean, and you know, here's the thing about Artem. I mean, he's been like freaking putting in the miles, man, putting in the work. Okay, there we go. And that'll give me something to fucking cheer for now.
Yeah.
I'll be in San Diego the same day for the finals of the World Series of Arm Wrestling. I'm actually excited for that. I need to get through the work week. We're leaving, and here's we are leaving Thursday night. Like when I get off work at 11 o'clock at night, we are leaving, driving to the airport. So
that's commitment. I don't have to worry about that for a while.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that, you know. But I know because of this event, I will say this before anybody asks me, hey, can you get footage? There's no footage because there's a camera crew there because it is season 2 of the last year was season 1. I think it got picked up by 2B TV, and now we are in the finals for season 2. So there'll be no footage out there. I will say this though, Ryan, did you know that with this event, it takes not 1, not 2, but 3 fouls before you're out of the match, before you take a loss?
Well, that's good.
And all matches start in the ref grip.
Interesting.
So
what style of referee's grip?
Like, you know, you thumbs down, you want high or low.
So they close you.
Yep. Not the wall gets your grip, but referee's grip.
Yeah. That's good. I like that.
So, yeah, it's different. So I had to like really, you know, train up for us. So when I went to the qualifiers in Utah, I was like, oh, so even my super matches was like that. So I'm thinking, oh, all right, that's fine, you know. But just a kind of little tidbit out there. So yeah, you need 3 fouls to actually lose a match. So, and you got to remember that it pays out to 5th place, I think, or something like that. But there's money to be had. First place is like $2,000, by the way. And the thing is, though, is that you got that. And what I was gonna talk about, yeah, don't get me started.
I'll leave this up till you read it.
You know what, Timmy? Honestly, it's just it'll have to be a conversation for you and I to have. But I'm gonna just say this: earlier this year, he because he's on the show with Pradeep, Paul Italia, and I forgot the other guy's name. Sorry. Every Wednesday night, check them out. You know, on Paul's channel. Now, they were talking about who Tom wanted to pull, this, that, and the other, and my name came up. No big deal, you know. He says, I've beaten Jody before. Oh, yeah, okay, you know. And he has, you know, left-handed. But I made the comment, I think this would have ignited the whole thing. I said, that's cool, you did beat me left-handed, but it's kind of funny how you forgot the right hand. Same event. But the problem I got was that when I said, hey, that same event you beat me left-handed, I also beat you right-handed. But then he spun that by saying, well, I was still new in the sport. That's funny because when you beat me, you had no problem mentioning that. That never came up until you got, I don't want to say put on blast, but when someone said, yeah, but you also lost too, then it became, well, I was still new in the sport. Then he kind of came after me and Freddie Sanchez, which Freddie has a match with Tom Subelbine later, December 9th, I believe, in Arizona. And Paul Italia is actually pulling 90%.
Right.
Ryan London that same day. So yeah, that's a big event. So anyway, long story short, Timmy, just to let you know, he called me out. I was like, no, the summers are busy for me. I got, obviously I got, my tournament that my wife and I do, the LOD, and we got, fundraisers and stuff. And he was giving me these dates. I'm like, dude, I'm busy. I can't be doing that. And then he gets on his own show and says, Jody's ducking me. He's a fucking chihuahua. He's a gatekeeper. He says he can't make it because he has a fundraiser. I think he's full of shit. That's when I got a problem.
Yeah.
That's when I had the problem with him. And so
I got my own issues with him. I got my own issues with him.
Right. When you sit there and say, my fundraisers for our son that passed away is a crock of shit, fuck you. So, yeah, don't get me started with that. Yes, Israel Chavez, stand-up guy, by the way. But it was the other guy, Paul. Now, I know Israel is the other guy that was on there too. But, yeah, when you say that kind of stuff about my foundation, our foundation, that my son who's no longer alive anymore, fuck you. So, yeah, Tom Stubble, bitch, I said that. So I got no respect for that guy. So yeah, it's been a really emotional roller coaster year for me. And now this October came in, it's just like, what the hell is going on, right?
Timmy is trying for the title of the ultimate troll, but he will never surpass the GOAT.
Who is the GOAT though?
Rick Galby.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So Timmy, honestly, it goes like this. If I ever see Tom in person, there's going to be a conversation, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just leave it at that.
I'm probably less angry than you are, but I agree. He's a piece of shit.
I'm not going to say, I'm not saying it's a threat. I'm just saying if I ever see that guy in person, because I mean, obviously we're in the same class, but I will have a conversation with him if I ever see him in person and go, look, dude, I'm going to set you straight. When it comes to my family and what you think is bullshit, stop. Don't go there, because I ain't the one you got to worry about. There's other people in the arm wrestling community that put him on blast and kind of straighten this shit out, but do not do that, because I assure you, you will get dealt with. It's not a threat. It's just saying, hey, just chill the fuck out. I don't mind you making a name for yourself. I don't care. It's not that serious. But the issue was I had no intention of pulling him because he was not on my radar. I already had shit lined up. And when I said no, he didn't take too kindly, and that's when he started losing his shit. So.
And that is the bonus soapbox.
Wow. Like, we went 58 minutes and was like, damn. Never, ever have we had a soapbox this in-depth ever on the show on our 2-year birthday of the Can-Am Connection on Halloween.
On Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. Jody, let's wrap it up. But don't go anywhere, because we got to talk about something.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, everybody. Maybe we'll let you in on it next week. Maybe. Hey,
but I will say this, though. Next Tuesday, we'll be talking about, because I'll be off work. Sweet. I think I might be on location in San Diego still. But either way, we'll have our talk, and we could talk about the results from the, and I hope, swear to God, let me take top 5 at least, because we're talking about some studs, because I don't know who's going to show up until they show up. So, yeah, we'll see. I'll go ahead and get my hands dirty and see what we got going on. So,
just going to address this fast, because I feel like when it happens in the East, those people just vanish.
Yeah. For some reason over there, you just don't hear from them no more.
Yeah, they're just gone.
So anyway, everybody, thanks for joining the show. I know it wasn't quite what you thought today, but just kind of take that. You can take it with a grain of salt. You can kind of take that and go, huh? But just be careful out in the real world, because there are, I guess, if I can say the word, there are some monsters out there. So just be careful, and let's just all have fun. Let's have fun, not be stupid.
Yep. So long, everybody.